Hello everybody, welcome back to HDcast, episode 4. I am your host, Hector Delgado Jr., and today is Monday, November 25th, 2019. First thing first, I wanted to apologize for my lack of uploads this past week. Full transparency, guys, I just have been working a lot my other job this past week. And these videos do take a little bit of time to make because I want to do them right for you guys. So it takes most of my day, and so I do these videos on my day off. But today, I did have a day off, so I really wanted to get a video up for you guys today. And today, we're going to be talking about Carmelo Anthony's return to the NBA with the Portland Trail Blazers and my thoughts on the whole situation and how it's going so far, as well as my predictions for tomorrow's or Tuesday's college football playoffs rankings, my top 6. So right off the bat, this past week, Carmelo Anthony signed with the Portland Trail Blazers after almost a year of waiting after he was cut from the Houston Rockets. And he signed to a 1-year, $2.1 million partially guaranteed deal, meaning that as long as he isn't cut from the team by January 7th, he'll make all $2.1 million this season. But if he is cut, then he will be only making $1.3 million. But with that being said, guys, I am really happy for him to be back in the NBA. I'm really glad he's back in the league, and I still think he has a lot to offer NBA teams. And yeah, he is a future Hall of Famer who absolutely deserves to retire on his own time, just like LeBron will, or just like Dirk and Dwayne Wade did. And he shouldn't just be cut from the league and just dumped out of the league just like last year. But with all that, how's he done since his actual return? Well, it's been a bit of a shaky start. And the Trailblazers are 0-3 since Carmelo has joined the team. And as for Carmelo himself, he's averaging 13 points, 4 rebounds, and just a hair under 2 assists. He's shooting 34% from the field, as well as only 31% from 3. But after watching some of the highlights and some of the film, there are definitely some pros and cons to Carmelo's game so far. So we'll start with the bad side of it so we can end on a more positive note for Carmelo. Being an Oklahoma City fan 2 years ago, I saw a lot of this. So I still see a lot of iso ball from Carmelo. And in theory, it should be working because he's getting a lot of mismatches. He's getting a lot of mismatches on smaller guards or slower, bigger defenders like centers and power forwards. But he doesn't have the same lift or explosiveness to just shoot over the top of smaller defenders or blow by bigger defenders. And so he just doesn't score on those mismatches consistently enough. And he's getting a beat to his spots a lot, and worse, he's getting his shot blocked by a lot of these younger and more athletic players. But yet, Melo and the Blazers still keep going to it, which is a little weird to me. In my opinion, Carmelo is still a really solid shooter, so catch and shoot should be more of his shot selection. And also, I really like him in the pick and roll with Dame or CJ taking a lot of the attention from the defenses. But onto the good. Again, I think Carmelo is a really good shooter, and I think he could be a good complementary scorer to Dame and CJ. And personally, I think he gives a lot of toughness and experience that only a vet like Carmelo could. And also, I think, lastly, he has a really great work ethic and professionalism that he can pass on to the younger guys. You saw it over the offseason. The guy works out every single day. He's a gym rat. So I think he is going to pass on a lot of good traits to some of the younger players on that team. But next, I wanted to quickly give my predictions on tomorrow's college football playoff rankings for the top 6 teams. So real quick, I'm going to list off the top 6, and then I'll do my reasoning. So first, the top 6. At number 1, LSU. At number 2, it's going to be Ohio State. At number 3, it's going to be Clemson. At number 4, it's going to be Georgia. At number 5, it's going to be Alabama. And at number 6, it is going to be Utah. So I just want to say real quick, that isn't personally my top 6, but it's what I think the College Football Playoff Committee is going to do tomorrow. But mine is very similar anyways. The only difference would be I would swap Utah and Alabama. So I'd put Utah at 5 and then Alabama at 6. So just on to the explanations. Number 1, LSU. They continue to be one of the most dominant offenses in college football and in one of the toughest conferences in college football. And not only that, but they have one of the most impressive schedules. So they don't have not one, not two, not three, but 4 top 10 wins. Not top 25, top 10. So that really shows that they're playing against some tough competition, and they're winning those games, which is super impressive. But on to number 2, Ohio State. Now, honestly, I think that they are the most complete team in college football. I know it sounds kind of weird, but I just said all about LSU, but I'll get into that in just a sec. So they're led on offense by Justin Fields, who is a borderline Heisman candidate. And on defense, they're being led by Chase Young, who is by far one of the most dominant defensive players in all of college football. He had 3 sacks against Penn State last week. And in my mind, he should definitely be a Heisman finalist. But the real reason that Ohio State is at number 2 is just because, like I said, LSU just has a little bit of a better schedule. LSU has, like I said, 4 top 10 wins. OSU only has 2 top 25, and one of those only being a top 10, which was last week against Penn State at home. But that's really more a tribute to LSU's scheduling rather than a knock on OSU's. So honestly, in my mind, it's LSU at 1A and then OSU at 1B. So it's like right there. And on to number 3, Clemson. So honestly, to me, there is a really big gap between 1 and 2, LSU and Ohio State, and then number 3 and 4 teams. Clemson is really at number 3 in my eyes just because of their initial high preseason ranking, as well as the fact that they haven't lost yet. But it really helps that aside from an early season win against a now unranked Texas A&M, they really have had a much easier schedule than 1 and 2. But with that being said, they still are a really solid team with a great defense. I think number 4 in the country or something like that, and they have lots of talent, and Dabo Swinney is a great coach. On to number 4, Georgia. Georgia's a weird team. I didn't really know what to write here. They're not an overly flashy team. They don't get talked about too much, and they don't really have like a huge set star like some of these other teams. And they have some really good wins. They have 2 top 25 wins, but they have the worst loss of the top 6. So it's kind of hard to judge them. Do you put them over Alabama? Do you put them? It's kind of weird to put them. But I think they're going to put them at number 4. And then, again, just a weird team. But on to number 5, Alabama. I'm going to kind of skip over this one just because I talked about them a lot more in my last video, which you can check out. I'm going to try and put it in the link below. I really haven't tried that yet, but we'll see. And then since I talked about them, not much has happened, especially because last week they played an FCS school, a really small FCS school, which I don't like because it's pretty much a guaranteed win for them, and it's just a stat padding game. I don't like when teams schedule cupcake games towards the end of the season. It's just weak scheduling in my eyes. But yeah, that's just my opinion. But lastly, on to number 6, and that's going to be my dark horse, Utah. Now, I'm a Pac-12 guy, obviously because of my Arizona Wildcats, but they are absolutely terrible this year. So naturally, I will support the best Pac-12 team to make the college football playoff. That was either Oregon or Utah. I like Utah personally a little bit more. I think they're a better team overall. But I just really like this Utah team. I think they play really good complementary football where the offense feeds off the defense and the defense feeds off the offense. And for example, what I mean is Utah's running game on offense is really, really good. They control a lot of the time of possession, so that keeps the defense fresh and it keeps them ready to go so they can perform at the top of their level. And also, on offense, I really like their quarterback and their running back combination of Tyler Huntley and Zach Moss. Tyler Huntley, he's not like a superstar or anything, but he's more of a game manager. I think he does a really good job of it. And Zach Moss is probably one of the best, if not the best, running back in the Pac-12. So, yeah. If Utah wins out, I really like their odds to make the college football playoff. But that is all from me today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you guys did, please drop a like and subscribe. Please share the channel, and also leave a comment. Do you guys like the new background and the lights, or should I just go back to the last one? Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.